We turn and set out for the abandoned corner, with Hanako taking the lead. The prospect of a nice, quiet game away from everyone makes her walk noticeably faster. Her eyes stay firmly fixed on her prize. The table is full-sized and well-lit despite the surrounding darkness. Thanks to the bright overhead lights, a huge painting of something covers the wall. There are many people milling about in this corner of the club, and I can see Hanako becoming a little less tense as a result.
You know how to play?
I'm no expert, but yeah, I do. I get the general idea. I mean, I think it's you hit all the hit all 9 of the balls. I think there's 9 of them anyways. And whichever one lands in for stripes or solids, that's the one you have to hit in, right? But you can't hit in the 8 ball. I think that's how that works. Okay, maybe I don't know what game we're playing here.
Then 8 ball?
Sure. Hanako gets the chalk and 2 cues from a set of hooks against one of the walls, while I fetch the balls from the table's pockets and grab the rack from a shelf underneath. She patiently waits as I get the table set up. After sliding the final ball into the rack and doing some last adjustments, I end up having to fight my perfectionist urges and getting the bottom row of balls exactly perpendicular with the edges. Oh, I know. With the balls arranged and ready for play, I step back and take my cue from her outstretched arm. I carry a quick inspection of the tip, before I'm satisfied that it is in good condition. So, you've played before?
Once or twice. I just kind of know the rules.
Yeah, I'm sure, because you clearly were rusty at chess. About to get my ass kicked. The air between us feels a little awkward. She's still pretty nervous, understandably given that we're in public. Eventually the silence becomes too much even for Hanako, and she begins to quietly stammer.
We'll break.
I think for a moment before reaching into my pocket and drawing a coin. I'll take heads, your tails. After an agreement from Hanako, I flick the coin up in the air, catch it, flip it over onto the back of my left hand. It looks like it's you that gets to break. Hanako nods again before taking up her position at the end of the table. Well, here we go. She's not usually this quiet around me, but I'm not wholly sure if it's because of the tidbit of information about her past that slipped out moments ago. What? I think I missed something. What was, Oh, I think maybe about playing pool? I don't know. Cue comes back into a practice gesture before smacking dead into the center of the cue ball with a thud. The white ball skates around the smooth green expanse before smashing into the carefully arranged balls at the other end. Ball skittered across the table at high speed. Break was good, with the balls being nicely distributed around the table. My eyes are already flicking from one another to pick out the easiest candidates to pocket. Hanako shoots from the side, and I take my shot.
Well done.
It's only after Hanako says this that I realize the ball I was shooting was sunk. I look at her and notice a small smile on her face. It's nice how playing games seems to loosen her up a bit. And you're good at computers. Maybe you should learn how to play some computer games. Probably kick everyone's ass at those too. Maybe not first-person shooters, but you know, whatever. Guess I'm stripes then. I take a step back and let her take the next shot, but she doesn't advance to the table. Rather, she looks down a little and rubs her arm. By now I can identify this as one of her gestures that means she wants to say something, but isn't sure of enough for herself to do it. What's up?
It's just... you had a nice smile. Do you like playing this?
I lean and I sigh and lean back against the table. I like playing, yeah. I think I was smiling because it's really nostalgic, though. Hanako tilts her head quizzically. Me and friends used to play pool in the game centers near where we live pretty often, and at night too.
Wouldn't your parents...
My parents both worked, so they didn't mind me not being in the house. I stayed on top of schoolwork pretty easily as well, so there was plenty of time to do other stuff at night. Our conversation dies down, with Hanako's timidity getting the better of her. In response, I get off the table and let her take her turn shooting. There aren't many solids in these positions, so Hanako bends down and takes a while to line herself up properly. Hanako's expression is the same as when we played chess, a relaxed but focused concentration. Athletes sometimes talk about getting into a zone where nothing unnecessary enters the mind. I wonder if that's something she can do. Her posture is good, better than mine to be sure. It's very close to a textbook method of playing, whereas I tend to contort myself into whatever position I feel is most natural for the shot I'm taking. She lines up the cue. The cue comes back, and she does a couple of practice movements to make sure she's lined up correctly. Oh, you're looking aggressive there. Hanako takes games so seriously. It's the only real hobby I know she has, outside of reading. It feels good to be able to share this kind of experience with her. She takes the shot after careful consideration, and the cue ball zooms off towards the ball, sitting at a slightly awkward angle near a corner. Hanako's careful preparation pays off as the cue ball hits and sends the ball rolling towards the corner pocket. For a moment, it looked like it'll stop on the lip of the hole, but eventually tilts just enough to drop in. Man, that was a hard shot. If you can pull that off, I don't think I have much hope.
I'm not that good.
Oh yeah, fucking right. It's not just the shot though. Even when lining up, you look really serious. You like this with chess too. The praise makes her a little flustered. She sets the cue against the table and stands, turning to me.
I just like those kinds of things.
Her fingers are twisting and turning tightly.
When I was in the orphanage, I just kept doing things I liked before. If I played games with the others, that was enough for the helpers there, so...
I never thought about it that way. Staff at an orphanage would naturally want to have everyone socialize at least a little. If it's okay for me to ask, what was it like for you at the orphanage?
Why do you want to know?
I've touched a nerve, but the fact that she responded at all shows there's at least a chance she'll answer my question. Before, she likely would have shrunk away from it without a word.
I'll tell you, but...
But?
Could you tell me who Hanako is?
Hanako? Oh, the letter. Right. I wonder how long she's been waiting for the right opportunity to ask me this. I'm surprised, but don't hesitate. Sharing information is naturally a matter of give and take. She is, someone I used to like. Her nervousness subsided, at least for the time it took to ask. Her curiosity is getting the better of her, and I feel a bit uncomfortable to be questioned on this, of all matters. There's no way I can spill out all my feelings about Hanako here. I don't even know what my feelings about her regarding her are, even after talking with Yuko yesterday, earlier, whatever. And I want to avoid that subject around Hanako. Hanako doesn't look overly satisfied with the awkward ending to the discussion. So, you're kind of a prick. You're asking her to give all this information, and then she asks something, and you're just like, nah. But things better continuing it. She was only just managing to ask me in the first place without knowing that I wouldn't want to talk about it. I moved to finally take my shot. The lack of talking between us is filled by the chatter of other patrons and the band at the other end of the club. Spying a shot that doesn't look too difficult, I try and shoot for it. Cue ball taps the ball, and the trajectory is about right, but I put in too much power. It grazes the corner of the hole and moves off to her side, just skirting the pocket. I grit my teeth a little. Fuck. I was pretty good at this game. It's frustrating to have deteriorated so much. I step back and let Hanako take her turn, glancing towards the counter where Lily and Akira are sitting. They're talking busily between themselves and seem to be having a good time. I turn back to Hanako while she takes her shot, with the same face as before. She lines herself up and sharply pushes the cue. Just as before, she sinks the ball she was aiming for. It drops into the side pocket more cleanly than her last. Though, it looks as if she's getting a bit more into the groove of the game. Nicely done. She hesitates for a moment and begins to address me without turning her head.
The orphanage was nice. It felt a bit like Yamaku does, and the staff was really kind. But, as the years went on, I realized I was different.
It feels strange to hear her speak so candidly about herself. She's audibly forcing the words out. It reminds me of when she insisted to tell me about the fire. Hanako must feel like she has to tell me such things, if I'm willing to tell her about my own past. Her grip on the cue tightens as she continues to speak.
Most of the children there were for adoption, just like I was. But unlike me, they gradually left, one by one. By the time I went to Yamaku, I was among the oldest children there. For a while, I helped with some of the younger children, but eventually...
I lay a hand on her shoulder. She's forcing herself by now. It's okay. She looks mildly surprised for a moment, but then nods before setting down her cue and turning to me.
Do you really think so?
Yeah, I think so. Even while Lily's away, I'll be around to protect you, right? Yeah, look at me, I'm Hisao. I'll protect you. Hanako looks at me for a long time. I'm taken a bit off guard. Her expression hasn't changed from before, still looking somewhat maudlin, and silences between us aren't unusual. I think it's the fact that she's holding such prolonged eye contact that makes this feel a bit odd. It feels as if she's judging me. It's a very strange, vaguely uncomfortable feeling. Hanako?
I understand. Thank you.
She smiles and looks away a little. It feels stilted. Hanako isn't very good at faking emotions, and this is no exception. I move to the table and take my turn to try and distract myself, but it doesn't seem to work. Does she not think I'm up to the task of helping her? Is she disappointed in me? I'm probably overthinking this. All her silences are just accepted as fact of life by now. Sometimes I do wish she'd speak more. With a thud, I send this white sphere careening down the table into my target.
Ah!
Hanako sees what happens. Hanako sees what's happening, just as I do. The ball hits hard, with a strike ball I'd intended to sing veering off towards the 8 ball. Sure enough, as both Hanako and I look on and bite our lips, they connect, and the black ball rolls leisurely into a corner pocket. Game over. All I can do is sigh. It looks like Hanako's smiling again, though, so maybe it wasn't all for naught. That was an awful shot. You win. Seems I'm getting pretty rusty after all this time. Hanako bends down and begins to shoot the remaining balls into the closest pockets. I almost ask if we could play another game, but a quick check of my watch confirms that the night is getting pretty late. Lily and Akira appear to be still drinking at the counter. Seems like we'll have to drag them away.
Hisao?
I turn back to Hanako, who's still looking over the pool table shooting balls. Her voice sounds different from before.
I'm here for you as well.
Huh. I suddenly find myself blushing. It's only natural she'd respond this way, given what I said earlier, but it's still a shock to actually hear it. Just, what is my relationship with this girl? I want to protect her, to make her happy. I'm not really sure that's something like love, but I don't think these are the same kind of feeling I have for Lily either. Hisao, you need to get your brain a little straightened out, bud. I feel sorry for her. Having gone through so much in her life, her parents died in a house fire, and she lived in an orphanage for so much of her childhood. I can't even imagine that kind of life. But I feel like there's so little I can do for her, especially now that Lily is going to be leaving the country. How can I finish tidying up the tables and queues, and pick up Lily and Akira on our way out of the club? It feels like something changed between Hanako and me. I can't quite place what it is, but Hanako is acting differently now. I feel like we're further apart, if anything. So, you enjoy yourselves? Hanako and I both nod and agree. The game was good, and we both did learn more about each other, so it's an honest answer. Lily appears to be a little distracted. Worried about the trip, Lily? She pauses before sighing and smiling weakly.
A little. It means quite a bit.
The comment earns a clap on the shoulder from her sister. Hanako smiles back too.
You'll be okay, Lily. I hope you can enjoy your time over there. Thank you, Hanako. I'll try to. It will be nice to be back with my family after all, no matter for how brief a time it may be.
With that, the four of us begin to walk the car park where Kira's car is. We continue to talk between ourselves, but it's mostly just small talk. Okay, I guess I was wrong. Whatever. We are in fact not on the next act. Whatever. Right then. Are you taking the bus, Lily? Lily motions to a large suitcase standing beside her.
I'll have to take this with me, so I've booked a taxi. It'll meet us at the school gates in about 5 minutes.
Ah, I see. Lily reaches down and feels out the handle of her suitcase. Its weight causes her some difficulty, so I quickly offer to take it myself.
That is awfully kind of you, Hisao.
She has no qualms about accepting, and I end up picking it up. It's not what I call light, but it's not exactly heavy either. I don't think I'll have too much trouble carrying it.
Well, thank you then. We should hurry though. If the taxi leaves, then it'll take quite a while to book a new one. Are you ready, Hanako? Yeah, let's go.
We rush to the gate as fast as we can, only to find that the taxi is yet to arrive. Well, it's like a bit of exercise in the morning. Nurse told me that I should be doing that.
I think he probably had other things in mind, Hisao, and probably with more regularity. Do you intend to be helping with people with their luggage every day?
I guess not. Looks like we've got a bit to wait anyway. How long should we wait for the taxi before calling them again?
I would say another 10 minutes, but they've never let me down before. There's probably just a little traffic.
Okay then. So how long is the flight to Scotland?
About 16 hours, if I remember correctly. It's a bit hard to tell with the changing time zones. So long.
It's now that I realize Hanako's been unusually quiet, even for her. She doesn't handle stress well, so she's looking really uptight. Yeah, I can't imagine being on a plane for that long. I've only ever flown on a short family holiday up north, so it really is quite hard to fathom. If Hanako spent so much of her childhood in an orphanage, she's probably traveled very little, let alone flown. Yeah, I've never been on a plane either, so... It's not too bad. I'll spend most of the rest of the board catching up on my English. I hardly use it here, so I need to refamiliarize myself with it a bit.
Will your accent be a problem?
I wouldn't worry too much about that. It may be an issue initially, but I should be fine once I get used to it. We all moved to sit down on the small bench beside the school gate in silence. Strange enough, even though I know Lily's going away, I can't think of anything to say to her. Lily is a reliable person, so it might be because she isn't the one I'm thinking of most. Lily might not be able to see it, but Hanako's chewing her fingernails nervously. I moved to talk to her, but I can hear an engine straining up the hill before I get the chance. Ah, I think the taxi's on the way.
Well spotted, Hisao. I only just heard it as well.
A small wave of pride washes over me. To have noticed something at the same time as Lily must mean that I've become more aware of my surroundings. Anyway, we'll have to call the taxi company. No worry about missing Lily's plane. Once the taxi stops where we're standing, the driver rolls down a window and leans over. After confirming that yes, Lily is the same Lily as the child that booked the trip, we sort out our luggage. Driver opens the trunk of the taxi and takes Lily's suitcase, with Lily climbing into the back seat as he loads it into the trunk and slams it shut. After getting back into his seat and shutting the doors, he waits for us to say our farewells.
Have a safe trip, Lily.
Take care of yourself. Hanako looks understandably downcast, and that much is obvious even in her voice.
Of course I will. I'll be back before long, don't worry. There will still be another person for you, won't there, Hisao?
Yeah, of course. I turn and smile at Hanako, putting my hand on her shoulder. She only managed to keep eye contact with me for a couple seconds, her cheeks red all the while, before turning back to Lily. See you, Lily.
Goodbye.
Lily gives her farewells to the both of us, with a fair measure of reluctance. Without further ado, the driver starts the engine once more, and they begin the journey down the hill and towards the airport. Two of us stand at the gates for a long time, even after they disappeared from sight, not really knowing what to do. So, what do you want to do?
I don't know.
Again, you think there's a choice here, but there really isn't. You want to go into the city? Bus stop, standing by the school gates like a mute sentinel, puts a strange idea in my mind. Do you, want to head into town and look for a bookshop or something? We have the rest of the day free. It's a long shot, as Hanako doesn't like going into the city. I count the fact that we managed to get her out of there when it was so dark as a small miracle, but I genuinely want to spend more time with her. Anyway, she's like to refuse and go back to...
Okay.
Really?
Really. Let's go.
I can't work out why Hanako's decided to agree with me, but I'm not about to ask her to change her mind. Alright, to the city! Stepping off the bus, I immediately noticed a lot of people were around us. In hindsight, should have been obvious. Of course lots of people will be downtown on a Saturday afternoon. Hanako retreats close to my side, and I could feel her hand clutching my arm tightly. Her body is held up against mine, and her head is bowed so low that her hat hides most of her scarring. So, where shall we go? Bookshop? Hanako's present and my other general living expenses have pretty much drained my budget, but I should be able to afford a few books. There's something I try to reserve a few funds for anyway. For a second, I think Hanako didn't hear me, but then I looked to my side and noticed her nodding almost perceptibly.
Okay. Do you know of one?
Actually, I do. We passed a few when Lily and I were looking for your presents. Hanako's expression clouds a fraction. I've got to remember to stop bringing up her birthday.
You both spend a lot of time?
Or maybe I just misjudged the situation. We just want to make sure we got the right present after all. Hanako smiles and blushes a bit. It's a small treasure when she does. Anyway, there should be a bookshop just ahead. Want to check it out?
Sure.
Crowds start to build once we head towards the bookshop along the raised walkways. Hanako latches her other arm onto me as well, making our progress a little slower. As we walk, the sound of traffic makes me think of a possible distraction for her. I was wondering, Hanako, have you thought yet about when you're going to learn to drive?
Driving?
Yeah, you're kind of lucky in a way. There aren't a whole lot of students in Yamaku that are allowed to drive. I guess you're old enough. It's not the best topic of conversation, but I want to try and distract Hanako from the situation. She's really high-strung right now. Then again, all I've really done is make her feel awkward, so she's probably never even thought about it. Wish I hadn't said anything. Before long, we were before one of the bookshops Lily and I passed by during our search. What kind of self-respecting bookshop closes on Saturdays?
Bookshops don't make much money anymore because of the internet. Maybe they just had to close over weekends.
She seems pretty knowledgeable in technology. And I guess that's a pursuit that would lend itself well to someone who enjoys solitude. Hey! Hey! That's rude. I guess that's kind of true. I guess it makes sense. It's easy to find books online. Anyway, looks like this idea is shot. Anything else you'd like to do?
If it's not a bother, could you show me where you brought my present?
Sure, not a problem. It's not far from here. It's literally a turn to the right. I'll head off in the direction of the store, only half sure of its location. I don't want to repeat the last time, spending half the day walking around aimlessly. Here we are, Othello's Antiques.
It's small.
Well, yeah. Took Lily and me some time to find it.
Can we go in?
I don't see why not. It's open. Hanako pushes through the door and enters before me. Once again, the store is empty, save for the store owner. His face drops a little when he sees me. No, you're not here for a return, are you? Wait, that's not the girl you had with you last time. No, we're not here to return anything. We were just in town and wanted to have another look in here. The store owner considers this for quite a long time. I guess he's not used to high school students coming to a shop on a regular basis. Might this be the friend you bought gifts for? That's right, they were presents for her. Store owner turns to Hanako, who freezes on the spot like a deer caught in headlights. He moves to address her, but stops before doing so, looking a little taken aback. He catches himself staring and looks to the side, addressing us indirectly. His expression is awkward and tense, as is his entire body. I want to be mad at him. But I know full well that I had the same instinctive reaction when I first saw her. First surprise, then curiosity, then an awkward look away as I dealt with what I'd seen. Hanako looks less panicked than before, but I think the feeling she's getting off now is worse. It's not anger nor annoyance. If anything, it's one of apology. You're lucky there, young lady. They're friends that care about you as much as they do.
Thank you.
If I hadn't spent so much time with Hanako, I wouldn't have realized that she said anything. Then again, the store's owner mumble was hardly clear either, thanks in part to being directed away from us. Hanako strikes out into the store, gazing in wonder at the various items on display. She finds the doll section, and spends lingering minutes studying each and every one. It's a side of Hanako I've only barely been introduced to. I was astonished when Lily said she liked dolls, and even more so to find her collection sitting on her dresser. She looks a little better now that she's distracted and out of the store's owner's sight, but I'm still quite put off by the whole experience. But I have my own problems, but I've never had strangers react to me like that, as if I was something completely alien to them.
This is a nice shop.
Yeah, it's not what I expected. You gonna buy something?
I didn't bring any money.
Well, we can always come again. Now that I know where to find it, that is.
We can?
Of course, we can come here as often as you like.
Thank you.
You don't need to thank me. I almost forgot what this place was. I don't think either of us completely believes in what we're saying, but rather, we're just repeating what we think we should say.
Can we go back to school now?
Sure thing, let's go. As we move to the bus stop, I see the store owner peeking through the curtain at the back of the shop. I'm not really sure what that glance he gives to her says. It feels a bit weird, and the fact that Hanako didn't see is both a relief and a bit frustrating. Othello seems cool. Assuming that's Othello, I don't know, he's just the shopkeep, but, you know. Hanako and I stopped walking once we reached the concrete area between the dormitory buildings. There was barely a word said between us on the way back from the city.
Well then, goodbye.
You want to have some tea or something? How about a game? Hanako shakes her head embarrassedly.
I'm tired. Maybe later? I've got homework.
She sounds a little depressed. Hanako obviously doesn't want to do more, but I suppose she would have a bit of schoolwork to catch up on. She's missed a few days' lessons. Homework. Thanks for reminding me. I've got a stack to do as well. Guess I'll see you tomorrow.
See you, Sal.
Before I can say goodbye, Hanako's turned and began walking towards the entrance to the female dormitory building. Look at the door she disappears through for a bit, before going off towards my own dorms. Today was a tiring day. I think maybe this thing... I think I said this before. I think this is the thing that I thought looked like the Binding of Isaac, but it looked like it was in a chair before. Now it's like painted over and weird. I don't know. Here we go! Act 4, Scars. I know. I already know. I probably have to put a warning on this video now, because I know what's going to... Or maybe not this episode, but I know what's going to come up. It's going to, be very interesting. A very, very strange experience. For those that don't know what's going to happen. For those that do know what's going to happen, maybe this is even stranger to you, because you are already in anticipation of me having to Read it! Yeah, we'll get there when we get there. I woke up, took my pills, had a nice shower, quickly slipped on my uniform, ate a tasty breakfast, grabbed my bag, and headed off. All as per my usual daily routine. It was only after arriving in this class that the normality of the day was thrown off. After taking my seat, I watched my classmates trickle into the room over the next hour until every empty seat was eventually taken, other than Hanako's. Is it her birthday? Wow. I guess we're having this now. Hey, there's Shizune. I can never get used to the idea that she doesn't show up to class every now and again. It feels all the more worrying now as well, given that Liz left. There's still no under to these desks. I don't know how you would put stuff under them. As Muto continues to drone on, I find my gaze flicking ever so often over to her seat, as if she might appear there any moment. Nobody else seems to care at all about her absence, but they have little reason to. Hanako being absent from class, after all, is perfectly normal. Or at least it was. Her attendance hasn't been all that bad from what I've seen in my time here, but it was apparently much more spotty beforehand. This is also an ominous time for her to be gone. It's the day before her birthday, and my suspicions are starting to rise after the breakdown she had in class when it was mentioned. An increasing amount of my thoughts is taken up by how I can't help her, but in the end, I feel like I can't do anything. Bell heralding the beginning of lunchtime rings out, shaking me out of my thoughts. A collective sigh of relief can be heard from the class, though Muto looks quite put off. He dislikes being interrupted in the middle of his exciting lectures, after all. Just when I'm wondering what I should do on lunch break, given that Hanako and Lily aren't here, the solution presents itself.
Afternoon, He-chan.
Hey. Afternoon, Misha, Shizune. You both look as bright as ever.
Shi-chan wants to know if you'd like to have lunch with us today.
Sure, it'll be good to have some company. Cafeteria hums with activity, much like my old schools did. Yamaku is different, though, in how strangely civilized the lunchtime rush is. What one would expect to be an unruly mob chomping at the bit to get to the serving area is rather a neat and organized line. Wow, that's, yeah, see, in my school, there's supposed to be a line, but what happens is there's a line, right? People actually do get in line, but then it's like, well, the doorway's big enough for other people to go in, so we're just gonna go around? I'm kind of an asshole when I do that too. There's usually like a huge mob that sits like in front of like this doorway, like, okay, so there's like let me try and draw this. There's like a door here, right? A door here, right here. And inside you can go left or you can go up to either, there's two items that you get on the menu. Outside this door here, there's a huge mob. What I do, just go around, cut in front of everyone, just go in. It's just like, why would I wait when I can just get ahead of everyone because no one else is assertive enough to do it, so, whatever. There's a small amount of jostling, and people's heads are often craning around to check on what's happening up ahead, but it's pretty subdued. This is due, no doubt, to the very serious rules regarding such matters in the school. The same strict discipline is observed when students move in the hallways, or come to and from their dormitories in the school gate, unless you're Emmy. While the reasons for it may be slightly off-putting, I've come to quite like the sense of order that's enforced in the school. I don't really like being told by Shizune and Misha to get their lunches, though. I feel a little used as I take a seat next to the table where they're sitting, plunking their food down in front of them. Sweet bread and strawberry milk for Misha, a bowl of ramen and juice for Shizune. I heave a sigh of relief as I put it all down, after the significant difficulty I had carrying it all in addition to my own lunch. In my school, you're not allowed to do that. You can't buy someone else's lunch or pay for someone else's lunch. Even if they give you money, you can't walk up and say, alright, can you put this, because in my school, when you get a lunch, you have to put your number in. Like, you have to put your school ID in on a numpad, and then, you get charged in your account. You're not allowed to put someone else's in, even if you're paying for them. You would have to pay it on your own account, which means you would need more money to put in, which I guess maybe you did. I don't know how we pay for this. Maybe we get free food, because we kind of need food. I don't know.
Thank you.
Misha claps her hands together before popping open the wrapper and digging into her bread ravenously. Shizune simply gives an appreciative nod before giving her steaming ramen a stir and blowing it on the top of it to cool down. I open my own lunch, another packet of sweetbread, and take a bite before washing it down with some juice. But it's very sweet, so much so that I end up forcing myself to stomach it just to get the experience over with. Ugh, sweetbread, gross. Midway through, I decide to take a break from the difficult task and ask what's on my mind. So, guessing you two had a reason to drag me down here. You two always seem to have an ulterior motive after all.
What are you trying to turn? We have no motive.
Her mouth is full of sweetbread as she speaks. It's a pretty unpleasant sight. Shizune looks a little grossed out before going back to eating her ramen. I wait until Misha swallows what she has in her mouth before speaking again. You're not buttering me up to make me work with you after school?
Nope.
Not trying to extract information from me that I might not want to give?
Nuh-uh.
Fine, you win. I guess you just want to eat with someone as intelligent and handsome as me then.
That's it, Chan. You got it.
Shizune looks unimpressed as Misha finishes signing her conversation, and sucks in the last of a long noodle as she signs her own thoughts.
As Shi-chan says you shouldn't be so suspicious of us, she's just doing her duty as class representative after all.
How is she... How are you doing that? As much as I hate to admit it, it looks like I'm still having trouble communicating with Shizune. It should be a simple matter of keeping eye contact with her and addressing Shizune instead of Misha in my speech. But when somebody else is doing the talking for her, it's a surprisingly difficult task.
It's the class representative's job to ensure everybody's doing all right in class, isn't it?
Not... Really? Wait, how's making me getting your food ensuring that I'll do well in class? Shizune huffs and adjusts her glasses disapprovingly.
So, this is the thanks we get for giving you companionship during lunchtime.
It's a total dodge of the question. Wait, hang on. How'd you know that I...
Lily's away and Hanako's absent, and since those two are the only people you hang around with, you also made it kind of obvious to see.
Ouch. I may have done so, but she didn't need to rub it in. Maybe this is payback for before. Right, well, thanks, I appreciate it, and that isn't sarcasm. Two nod, and we get back to finishing our meals. It feels a little embarrassing to be accompanied just because they noticed I was lonely, but it isn't as if they're strangers either. It isn't long before I finish the last of my bread and start on the last of my juice. And as I do so, I find my mind wandering back to what I've been thinking before the two interrupted my train of thought.